All right. We are ready to start yet another stream. FIDE candidates, you all. FIDE candidates. We got Ian versus Prag. Come on, who's gonna miss this one? I was debating whether I should stream today or not, but I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let me know if you guys are in the chat. Let me know about audio and video as usual, and we are ready to go. Hopefully, I'm live. Hopefully, I am live. Yes? No? If you're here, just say hi in the chat. We got bishop e3. I'm going to start commentating in a second. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Bishop e3 seems like a solid opening choice by Nepo today. e4, e6. Exchange French. Wow. Exchange French is a. Who would have thought? Knight c3 and knight e7. How do these guys have prepared knight c3 and knight e7? Firstly, no one plays exchange French, and how does Praggnanandhaa know knight e7 here? This is crazy. Crazy. Who prepares knight e7? Teshal, how's it going? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Oh, thank you for the 100 plus subs. We actually reached 102, and then two people unsubscribed. So we are back on 100, I think. I don't know who unsubscribed. How was Hikaru game? Hikaru won yesterday, right? And he beat Praggnanandhaa very convincingly. So he came up with this new opening preparation. He went for this Terrash, but with a weird move order. Gained some time upon the clock. Praggnanandhaa had to think. And Hikaru's a5 move was the one that really made a difference. After a5, Praggnanandhaa had to think. He could not figure out something special. His pieces reached the trend. Slowly, his position became worse, and then he lost. Yep. Thank you very much, Isomaniac. Thank you for your congratulations. Really pleased to see we are growing. Today's Blitz stream was a bit dry, wasn't it? I know. I wasn't in the best mood. It was a bit dry. I'll be, more active next time. Sorry about that. I watched the recording. It felt a bit dry to me. Try making it much better the next time. Actually, I play French Exchange. You do play French Exchange. I think there are better options. Personally, I like Knight D2 a lot. So D4, D5, my favorite move is Knight D2. And I mean, Knight F6 is basically refuted after Knight D7, C3, C5. F4 is basically the refutation. This is what I claim. I claim this is a refutation of Knight F6. So your best move is probably to go C5. Like this is the other main line. C5 challenges the center right away. White takes, black takes with the queen. You can also take with the pawn. Well, actually, there are two options now these days. Some people play knight f3, some people take. So maybe knight f3 is a bit better. I don't think any of these positions are really harmful for white, but it's a question which one gives best advantage. Like we were exploring ed, queen d, knight f3 for a while. And CD bishop c4 was one of the main lines. You sack a pawn, but you regain it later. You castle, you play knight b3. This pawn eventually falls. And you have some development. But I guess people have figured out some theory here. So Wesley So, for example, in his course recommends knight f3. And after knight c6, you can take and play bishop b5 as far as I remember. This is also known to give white a slight edge. So personally, I don't see a point of playing French. I mean, unless Praggnanandhaa has some really special preparation. Another idea actually is probably to take here. This is also possible, where you have knight d7, knight f6 ideas with interesting games. One move here which is very tricky is c3. c3 is a tricky move. If you play c5, I think you have bishop e3 or bishop e3 or even knight e5 has been tried time to time. So c3 protects the pawn in case of c5 and you go knight e5 directly to go bishop b5 check. This is a tricky line. I think Naroditsky has tried this. And bishop e3 has also been tried. This is also very interesting. So have a look there. What's the point of knight e7? Where is that knight going? The point of knight e7 is to achieve bishop f5. So you play knight e7 to, if white plays bishop d3, which is the most logical square for this bishop, then you play bishop f5. That's one idea. Other idea is to place the knight on g6, bishop on d6, knight on f4 could be something. This is what I can figure out so far. I mean, in theory, knight can also go to f5. I haven't seen that happening that often. But main idea is to play, like if Nepo was to play bishop d3, we would have bishop f5, which is a possibility. This is what I would expect. But maybe Praggnanandhaa has something else in mind. Maybe he wants to play g6, bishop g7, fianchetto this bishop this way. But yeah, I mean, Nepo is also figuring out what's the plan of knight e7, so not easy to see. Did you have Nepo's King's Gambit course? I have Nepo's King's Gambit course. Do you need it? Do you need it? Well, actually, I don't know if I can give it to you because. Wait, can I? Also, let me change the round number. It's round number 12. My thing goes 11. I need to still figure out. Where is it? Yeah, you do need it. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yeah, let me just figure out this round number thing. Yes, long castle is a typical plan in these positions, so I won't be surprised if Praggnanandhaa went for it. Especially if you play knight c6, you are showing that your intention is to play long castle. Double round robin is where? Takes here, takes. Yeah, round 12. There we go, changed. Yes, queen d7, bishop f5. Like bishop f5, queen d7 is an idea. The thing is, Nepo's knight c3 is a little bit awkward because you don't usually play knight c3 in this opening. You put a pawn on c3. So knight c3 is Nepo's choice. I mean, he definitely knows what he's doing. But he was probably thrown off a little bit by Praggnanandhaa's knight e7. And then he played a3, which is... Yeah, what's the point of a3? I'm yet to figure out myself. The only thing I can probably see is that black wants to play this idea. And okay, one idea is that bishop d3 you avoid knight b4. Yes, this is one idea, of course. The question really is, could Nepo have sacked the bishop? Like, could Nepo have played like this? Bishop f5, because there's queen b5 check, right? Which is very dangerous. So what was so wrong with this one? This is what I don't have the answer to. I think Nepo could have actually played without a bishop because of his lead in development and black's king being in danger. So maybe a3 was not necessary after all. Yeah. I've got a bit more. VD was crying yesterday. Yeah, I mean, come on, like his chances basically vanished. His chances basically vanished. What more could he have done? He tried his best. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. You know, if he had more time on the clock, he would have actually won against Nepo. He would have actually won. Yeah. Oof. But what we've got today. Got a bit more energy right now. So hopefully this stream will be better than the Blitz one. Let's see, let's see. And so the other games, what's going on here? Knight c3, what Ali Reza has? No, Naka is getting some sort of advantage against Ali Reza. Ali Reza played French as well and another exchange. What is up with these guys? Everyone playing exchange French. Have they lost? What are these guys doing? French, okay, at least this one was a little bit standard French. Bishop d6 is more standard. C4, knight f6, c5, bishop e7. Okay, now Nakamura's actually playing for something. Queen a4 check, Nakamura's preparation. But how has he prepared this against Ali Reza already? Maybe Nakamura prepared this against Prag and it happened to work against Ali Reza. That's actually crazy. He gives a check and then retreats the queen back to c2. So now this bishop is a little bit awkward on d7. Castle, bishop e3. Bishop e3 is interesting. Why bishop e3 first and not bishop d3? That's a question that I don't know yet. If I play bishop d3, what happens? Knight c6. If I play a3, bishop g4. Okay. So there is pressure over the d4 pawn, so you play bishop e3 first. So bishop e3, knight c6, knight c3. Okay, now the bishop will come out to e2 or d3, and Nepo will, Hikaru will figure that out. What's going on with it? Well, his chances are gone, so he's on 5. Yeah, he's not winning. Nepo's on 7, isn't he? 6.5 or 7? Nepo's on 7. Yeah, Vidit is not catching up by 2 points, unfortunately. So now we can. This is only. This game can only go favorable for Fabi. So let's look at some G piano, shall we? Let's look at some G piano. Let's go to the women's game that early. Let's cover the men's section first, they shall. Let me see what's going on here. We got c3 standard a6. a4 is a trendy idea played a lot by Russian Grandmaster Andrei Yesipenko. Has played this a lot. Knight d2, castle h3. The idea of a4 is to just get queen side space. Sometimes you play a5 early on to prevent any b5s. But rookies, knight e7, knight g6 is a very standard maneuver. So nothing really special here. a5 is okay. c6 by Vidit to go d5, one of the very standard plans. No special preparation by either of the players in this game. Like, this is just a textbook Gico piano. And then, okay, wow, this game looks spicy. This game looks juicy. Does any Indian player has a chance? Of course, Gukesh does, right? He's only trailing by half a point. Of course, Gukesh has a chance. Let's cover this game, Teshal, and then we'll go to the women's section. Like, Nijat is yet. But Gukesh has come up with some weird preparation. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, Nimzo, and h6. Wow. Never seen h6 in my life. Like, I've played a few moves myself. I'll tell you, I've played d6, I've played d5, I've played castle, I've played c5, I've played b6. Like, all these 5 moves I've played. Even knight c6 I've played. So I play this opening regularly, and I've played... so basically what happened was that I got one thumbnail made, and for that thumbnail I just randomly gave 2 men's players and 2 women's players, and that's essentially the only thumbnail I have, and I am reusing it. So maybe for tomorrow I'll have to contact my editor, my thumbnail editor. If he's available and if he can do it, I can probably make something work. I can make something work. Yeah. So yeah, essentially h6 is a move that's pretty much never seen before. Like, you have all the mainstream moves, b6, c5, d5, d6, castle. But what is h6? Special preparation. I mean, his idea is probably something to do against e4. He's probably intending something special like c5. But at least he threw Nijat off his preparation. Knight f3, c5. This is standard. Yeah, okay. This is played well by Nijat. e4. Yeah, this is standard. I mean, these double pawns are not bad because they prevent black pawns from getting into center. Someone was asking me the other day that are double pawns inherently bad? Now you know the answer. Not really. Firstly, there is no attack on them. Secondly, they prevent black's center control. So no, they're not bad here. And knight h7 is Gukesh's new idea. What's the plan of knight h7? You tell me. You tell me. What is knight h7? I mean, Indian thinks white is okay, like so is black. But where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Nishad out of the book early means The battle is won for Gukesh. You think so? You think so that early? Gukesh doesn't have piece development yet, so it will take a few moves before we can make such a claim. Okay, Nijat is out of time at least. So, like, sorry, low on time, relatively to Gukesh. So that's something we've got to figure out. But else I would say it's an interesting position. It's an interesting position. Still don't know what the idea is. Let's say I play a move like, I don't know, let's say I try something like Rook B1. Rook B1 B6, so Rook B1 doesn't achieve anything. So let me try a move like Bishop F4. Engine likes this move, although it did not recommend it. So this was my thought, like Bishop F4, control D6. What's the plan? Engine says B6, and then if I play Rook D1, Engine says Bishop B7. I don't actually know what Knight H7 does. Gukesh will have to explain this to me in the post conference. Is it only to prevent against E5 or something, or does he have some G5 ideas? But G5 looks weak with the king in the center. Like, can G5 work really? Let's explore G5 for a second. BD6 is +2 for white, so yeah, Rook D6, Rook D1. I don't know what this knight does on H7. Gukesh's idea is weird. Hikaru win and all games will be drawn. You think so? You think so? That's a bold claim. I mean, Hikaru could definitely beat Alireza. Like, Alireza does not have a realistic chance to win, so Alireza will only be freestyling. And so it's really up to Hikaru to convert something. Of course, no one plays for lose, but Alireza does not have any significant significant incentive to win. So say Alireza gets in a bad position, chances are he'll collapse more likely that he'll collapse. All Hikaru needs to get is a dominant position, and then Alireza will collapse because he has no incentive to win. He can't win this tournament even if he won all the matches. So essentially, yeah, we got this scenario. Okay, women's section, shall we? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no? Women's section. Knight c3? No, I mean, we yet to see moves in Hikaru's game. I can refresh to see if anything has been played. Oh wait, there have been one move. Targeting this pawn, you can't play b4 because the pawn hangs. The pawn hangs. So you can play bishop e2, actually, just develop the bishop. And takes, you put a rook on d1. Seems good to me. Seems good to me. Okay, women's section, let's go. You guys think I should put music on the stream or no? I mean, I don't know many commentaries. Yeah, Tharv, I'm an FM. Yes. The site is loading, guys. Wait for a second. Welcome to the chat. Never seen you before here, Atharv. So, welcome to the chat. Really pleased to have you here. Looking at women's space, I'm gonna do some commentary. Let's see which games look sharp. Ooh, this has been seen before in none other than Nepo versus Carlsen, I think, or Fabi Carlsen have had games here in this line. So you might want to check that out. Fabiano and Carlsen have played this variation of Roy Lopez a lot. A6 bishop a4, maybe even Nepo Carlsen. D4 bishop e7. This is a new try. Well, a more of a trendy try. The main way to play here is to go for the open Spanish, as we call it. D5 bishop e6. This is called the open Roy Lopez or open Spanish. But bishop e7 is an attempt to try something new. Has been seen from time to time. Rook e1, b5, rook e4, d5. So you're not interested in capturing the bishop yet. You are saying that I want to attack the rook first. So is Vaishali prepared here? She plays. Wait, what? D5, knight e5. Yeah, this is theory. Vaishali knows this. Queen e2, bishop e6. And Anna Muzichuk was out of preparation first, even though this is the best move of the engine. Anna Muzichuk played f4, which is the best move, and Vaishali blitzed out king f8, which also is one of the best moves. Now knight c3. Apparently, white should have started with f5, at least what the engine tells me here, but during the game, I can imagine it being really hard to judge. Full form FIDE Master, Atharv, FIDE Master. One title below International Master. Yeah, FIDE Master, one title. You get that when you reach to 2300 FIDE. Rook b8 after e5 for the Gukesh game looks really fishy. We'll check in a second, but f5 is really interesting. Bishop d7, and now just knight c3 had a little bit more venom. Because now hard to defend the pawn. If you play c6, this pawn hangs. And if you play bishop d6, sacrificing the pawn, then there is this... Wow, okay, come on. Engine is suggesting some weird stuff. Engine says play queen f2. And sack the rook. And you say f6 is coming, bishop h6 will come, queen c5 will come. Okay. Hard to figure this out on the board if you are not in preparation. So instead we have this line where we have knight c3, bishop d6, knight takes a4, bishop takes e5, f takes e5 is yet to be seen. Did she actually sacrifice the rook without preparation? Or is she actually in the preparation but she's just bluffing? No, she's too down on the clock to be bluffing. I don't think she's bluffing, but of course she realizes there is compensation because this knight cannot be removed from the c5 square. And this bishop, so the light square bishop cannot defend against dark square bishop since the dark square bishop attacks on the dark squares. And light square bishop defends on the dark square. Thank you very much, Atharv. Thank you very much. I actually don't know the standings, but based on the score, doesn't look like 4.5 is going to win you the candidates. But I don't know in the women's one. How many? Yeah. Vaishali is out for the top spot. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much on the for the wishes, Atharv. Really tried hard. Finally, we got there, and that's why this candidate says this stream is like 100 subs special. God, as you can see, I've got a little bit more energy right now. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Let's see the other games in this section and then we'll go back to the men's one. Okay, Salimova has played this structure, stopping knight c5. Double pawns again, common theme. The idea is to play b5 perhaps or knight d4 first. Eventually play b5 undermining the structure. Activate the bishop. Activate the bishop. So nothing special here. Dry position, queenless. Now this is another French, isn't it? Why is popular all of a sudden? Guys, it's a bad opening. Bishop e2, f6. Okay, f6 is a new line. Arvind Chidambaram, Grandmaster Arvind Chidambaram has played a game here. An interesting game. You can have a look there. Castle, fe5, knight e5. This is how his game went as well. Queen c7, bishop f4. His game went knight e7 as well. And then c4 was actually played by him as well. Or at least very, very similar. This is all correct because black is trying to play knight c6, attack the pawn, and you want to act quicker. Vaishali is most likely out for the top spot. Yes, long castle, knight d2. Well, why not knight c3? That's a question. Knight d2 is very conservative. Like, it's really just trying to defend the pawn. Knight c3 is more aggressive. You're saying, well, come for my pawn and I am going for your center. More aggressive. Bishop c6, bishop g4 could lead to interesting play. Could lead to very interesting play. You are attacking here, you are attacking here. I don't know, I prefer white. Because of the pieces being caged in, I prefer white. 92, I don't think this is very dangerous because this is saying black, you can attack and I'll defend. So, like, black could play a move like. Can he play knight c6? Can she play knight c6? Apparently, there is bg3 and some f4 sort of thing. Okay, so no need to rush with knight c6. We can play bishop c6 and we can argue that the knight can go to g6. And this seems to be looking good to me for black. Like, you can try a move like rook c1. And there is simply d4. So now there is no attack here. The bishop gets activated. I like black's position. I like black's position. You think so, Atharv? Like actually, I have actually collaborated with one of the guys called Apex Chess. The video will be out this weekend, so I'll update you on that. But yes, I can collaborate. I'll ask some people around. People, let's see. It's just that since I don't have many subscribers yet, I'll probably have to pay them a good amount. And so then I have to do the cost benefit analysis. Will I get enough subscribers for the payment made? And yeah, essentially that. But welcome to the stream. Really pleased to have you here. Let's look at the other games. What is going on in. We saw the Muzichuk one. We saw this one. We saw Salimova. We saw. Okay, Guryachkina is a Catalan. This is a line I used to play. f3, d5, g3, bishop e7. dc4 is the main line. Queen c2, a6. Pretty solid line for black. Excellent opening choice. a4. Now h6 is new. I have not seen h6 before. Even Gukesh played h6. How are all these people playing moves like h6 and. Yes, I know Hindi. The reason I don't commentate in Hindi is because then my channel's geography would be limited to India, and I want to have viewers in every country, not just India. So that's why I don't commentate in Hindi. Yes, I do know Hindi. I lived in Delhi for a while. Well, for a while, I mean 15 years. So yes, a4, h6, rook d1. The main move here is bishop d7 or knight c6 first. Let me flip. Wait, which one is the. Knight c6 is the main one, no? Or bishop d7? No, bishop d7 is main. Queen c4, you put the bishop on c6, yeah. Bishop f4, bishop d6, knight d2. You will actually find some of my games here. If you search my online games, you'll find games of me here. Knight d7. I've played this time to time. Pretty solid position. Great. Great opening choice as black. But if you want another weapon against Catalan, then you have this choice of playing c5 here. This is in Surya's course, Surya Shekhar Ganguly, his Nepo, his Nimzo Indian course. Pretty solid line as well. The other one is what they played. And if you want to play more aggressively, like you want to play for an absolute win, you can play c6, b5. This is a try for a win, must-win situations. Or if you really like close positions, then you should play bishop b4, check bishop d2, bishop e7. You entice this bishop to d2 because it's a little bit misplaced. This is for if you prefer close positions. So here the ideas go something like castle, castle c6, queen c2, knight d7. You put a pawn on b6. You probably put a pawn on a5. And you put bishop on b7 and a6. Why not take the free pawn on c4? Where it's not a free pawn. It's not a free pawn. We actually. So black took the pawn on c4. So black is up a pawn. And now after h6, white can grab the pawn. There is nothing wrong with it. So you're not winning a pawn. It's just you regain what you lost. My guess is that there is some move here which I'm missing. Queen c4. Maybe there is b5. If pawn takes, queen takes, the rook hangs. Is that something which I'm missing? There is b5 indeed. There is b5 indeed. So that's the point behind h6. You play b5 now. And pawn takes, you can't take back, the rook hangs. And if you play, let's say, queen d3, I still have bishop b7. and then takes, you have bishop e4, queen b3, defending the pawn, bishop d5. Well, you can actually get a draw quite easily. Okay, this would be like an equal position or a draw with black pieces. Not sure if Humpy is fine with that. If she is, then all good. But this is the new idea. So my next question was, why don't we usually see bishop d7, queen c4, b5? What's so different here? Oh, the bishop can't go here. Right. That makes sense. So you can't play bishop b7, so you don't go b5 after queen c4. You might ask, why don't we go queen bishop c6? The thing here is that now knight d2, knight b3, knight c5 can be dangerous. If the bishop was on c7, you could have played knight d7, c5 quite quickly. Now it's difficult. How much they are charging? Well, they will charge a lot. I don't know how much exactly, but think about it. Why would you want to collab with 100 subscriber YouTuber for free? Collaborations generally take money, so it's not as easy. But this one guy who has 6,000 subscribers agreed. So I'm very happy to see that. Okay, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Let's move on to the men's candidates again, see if there has been any improvements or any moves. But yeah, what is doing today, like before the candidates?
Oh, now I know. Now I know.
Okay, we got to stop this commentary. All right, this I was really interested in Gukesh's h6 idea.
I just mean compared to the level.
What is this h6 knight h7? We've got b6 bishop b7 rook b8.
But compared to the
Rook
average
b8.
viewer,
Where did rook b8 come in the whole situation? Ah, white played e5 so that b6 can be met with knight d4, which attacks the rook. So Gukesh played rook b8 first. Knight d2, a great maneuvering move to put this knight on e4, controlling d6 and c5. Great move, I love it. Bishop b7. Gukesh still in his preparation. That's scary. That's scary. How is Gukesh still in his preparation? Try contacting Samir right now. Samir. Bro, really? Samir Raina with 100 subscribers, YouTuber. You're joking. But what I was trying to do was I was trying to put a super chat on Samir's to promote my channel, but I am having some payment issues. YouTube is not accepting my payment for some reason. So I've got to try that again. I will do that though. I'll put a super chat on Samir's stream. Just YouTube has to agree. But till then, we can enjoy the commentary here. Eventually, I'll gain the subscribers. After castle, Gukesh will be in complete control. Gukesh knows this position in and out, maybe. Well, if you're playing like this, you better know what you're doing. I mean, I have faith in Gukesh. In the long term, white has weaknesses. So what Gukesh has done is that Gukesh has said, well, you have structural weaknesses. So if I get to consolidate my position after short castling, I can claim that your position does not have as much advantage as it should. Because the more pieces get traded, like let's say the knight gets traded, the bishops get traded, all you are left with is structural weaknesses for white. So in this case, Gukesh could be better in the long run. So white should be looking for some cool attacking possibilities. White needs to attack, especially Gukesh's king. Will he be able to do that? That's a different question. Why white isn't taking on the c5 bishop? It's a strong bishop, but as I just explained, the more pieces you exchange, closer you move to an endgame. And in the endgame, the isolated pawns are weak. However, you can argue that after knight takes c5, black also has a weak pawn on c5. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's an actual possibility. Like, I would not be against it immediately. Like bc5, let's say Do we want to trade or do we want to play bishop e3? Uh, for example, let's say it takes, just for example. And now we play bishop e3. What's going on here? Queen c7, rook b1. I want to get rid of this rook, and when the queen takes, I gain this pawn. So you have to play takes, takes, and short castle. And is this position better for white or not? If you play rook b5, what happens? E5 hangs. Oh, we have to be a bit careful. E5 hangs. So queen e4 to play rook b7 perhaps. And then you get hit with knight g5. Like if Gukesh knows all these subtleties, then he's fine. If Gukesh knows all these subtleties. Even here white has a slight edge, but Gukesh can easily make a draw here. I know his ability, especially with that much time on the clock. So essentially, Nijat is looking for some attacking chances. After all, he needs his first win. So, wait, what do you mean? Like, can VD still qualify? No, no. Like, probability is less than 1%, like less than 1% chance. Is sacking the white bishop, bishop takes black short castles. You know, Keshav, it would be if, well, one thing is that bishop takes e4 is there, so you don't have, no, wait. It would be possible if after takes you had knight f6, but you don't have knight f6. There is a knight on h7. And if that really is the idea behind knight h7, then that preparation is awesome. If the whole point behind knight h7 is to anticipate that Nijat would have played knight d2, knight e4, and then Nijat would have tried to sacrifice, so you prevent knight f6 by playing knight h7, well then hats off to Gukesh. Like this preparation is legendary. If that's the case, then the preparation is absolutely legendary. But let's see Nepo Prag. So we had bishop f5, right? As I was predicting. A3, bishop f5 played, bishop e3, queen d7. Long castle idea on the board. Isomaniac, you were talking about this, right? No, absolutely crazy prep. Like, I'm shocked as well. I'm shocked as well. Wait, Athar, was the voice too loud? Did I speak too loudly or something? You said you were wearing earphones. Did I say, was I too loud? Sorry about that if something happened to your ears. But yeah, so bishop e2, 6. We said that the knight could go to g6, bishop d6 can come as long as you protect the pawn first. h4, h5, knight d2, bishop e7 could have been played. Why bishop g4 early on? The pawn hangs. But bishop e7, bishop h5. Oh no, you play g3 first. This reminds me of my game, which I played against an international master. I won in 17 moves, by the way. Yeah, beat an international master in 17 moves. Knight d2, bishop g4. I don't know why I needed to say that, but you know, sometimes. Bishop g4 trading these good bishops. Nepo's only left with the bad bishop. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, that just came out wrong. Sorry. Which prep from any former player has impressed you the most? Any game you can recommend? You should see the Anand Gelfand preparation, the which was prepared. There is a video by Sagar Shah. Anand Gelfand match. Anand's team prepared something against Rosolimo. There was this whole king walk. That is just mind. Like you can't actually do a better preparation than that, in my opinion. In my opinion. Anand, if you go on YouTube, type Anand Gelfand World Championship match preparation, Surya Shekhar Ganguly, because Anand's second at that time was Surya Shekhar Ganguly. Who is Gukesh's second? Gukesh's second, I actually don't know. I don't know actually. I know Hikaru was being held by Nicholas Huschenbeth, German Grandmaster, but I don't know who Gukesh's second is. Hmm. Yeah, you'll find it. Like, it's a very famous video by Sagar Shah. If not, I'll put a link on the chat later on. But you'll find it quite easily. Like absolutely legendary opening preparation. Or if you want to find some great opening preparation, explore this line. And actually, do you guys want to see one opening preparation which came in my match against a Grandmaster? Like this was great preparation by both of the sides. Do you want to have a look at it? Or should I just keep commentating? But let's have a look. Bishop b7. Okay, Caruana's game is opening up a little bit. E5 played by d5 played by Vidit. Takes. Actually, nothing dangerous for black. Knight takes, rook takes. You can't play knight f3 because the pawn hangs. Sure, let's go. All right, let me show you. Crazy preparation. So this started. This actually was played in my last tournament, which was like a couple of weeks ago. So I played d4, d5, c4, c6, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, e6. The move order was a little bit different. I think I played e3 first, but doesn't matter. e3, we are into main semi-Slav Miran. He plays knight d7 and my preparation was bishop d3. Okay. Main line. What's so special here? Nothing. Wait. He takes, plays b5 to put my bishop back. He gains a tempo. I play bishop d3. He plays bishop b7 first. I just play castles, I think. Yeah. And he plays a6 to play c5 directly. Now this is a well-known territory. But now I play e4, c5, and the main move here is d5. This was preparation as well. Now you might think I lose a pawn. Not really. If he takes, I have e5. I don't even take back. And if knight e4, I play queen e2. This was actually Gelfand's preparation as well, I think. I saw once. Knight c3, bc3, bishop e7, like moves like e6 are always there and white has huge attack. This was my preparation, but this is not the point of interest. I'm coming to it. At d5, he plays the main move, which was queen c7. And most common move here was, I think, bishop c2. This has been main line for a very long time. I tried the new move queen e2. The idea is that now you can't take because I have e5 or ad5. I would have chosen. So you have to play c4 first, I think. If you play bishop d6, I have takes and knight g5. This was some cool preparation I prepared. King takes h2, king h1, and white is actually +2. You lose a pawn, but this pawn is impossible to defend. If you play bishop actually, how do you defend this pawn? Let's say you play knight f8. Now I play f4, bishop g3, and e5, the bishop will soon be trapped. The knight has to move. If you play knight d5, which looks natural, queen h5 check, g6, queen g4. Bishop is trapped. Okay, so we are already 19 moves in. But this didn't happen. He played queen c7. I played queen e2. He played c4 first. Good idea. Bishop c2, bishop d6. And my preparation here was rook e1. Okay, what's so special about this? We are trying to play e5. So black plays knight e5. I take, he takes, and he's attacking my pawn. So most of you would play h3 or g3 to prevent the pawn from hanging, right? I played f4. Like, I just sacrificed the pawn. If you take, this is actually not that good because you have e5 and now the bishop is separated from the queen. If you take on c1, I take on f6. If you take on b2, I take on g7. And this actually becomes better for white. Okay. So what happened in the game? He didn't actually take. You can give a check as well. This is also another line. I was supposed to sacrifice 2 pawns here. This did not happen in the game, by the way. But knight e4, knight d6 was my preparation. I was sacrificing 2 pieces for an attack. King f8 and something like rook f1. 2 pawn sacrifice for this much attack. So he did not do this. After f4, he actually played bishop d4 check. And even he knew this. Somehow he just knew this preparation. King h1, he played h5. Like, how does this Grandmaster know this? Like, how does he know I was going to play this? And how did he know h5? Okay, this happened. I played d6, still in my preparation. Queen d8. This guy plays queen d8 to go knight g4, queen h4. If you take, by the way, there is e5. So this guy plays queen d8, and now I have to find one of the best moves, which is rook d1. You can't take because e5 still, and I'm attacking the bishop directly. So he plays bishop c5. I play bishop e3. This is where I was slightly out of preparation. He plays queen b6. I took, he took, and this was all engine moves, by the way. I played e5 if I remember correctly. He played knight g4, and I played rook d2. And eventually this was a draw very soon. Queen e3, knight e3. Basically, 100 accuracy game by both the players. And eventually this position was reached, but it's objectively close to equal. Slight edge for white, but nothing special. So this is how crazy it went. But let me show you another fun line. Let me show you another fun line. You guys can try this. D4, D5, C4, C6. Knight F3, Knight C6. Let's say your opponent takes here. You can play E4. Let's say they play E6. And next move is B. Oh, sorry. First they play E6. First they play B5. Bishop E2, E6. You can actually try the move A4 here. This was Gelfand's idea as well. Lot of Gelfand today. You'll see the fun line here. A4, B4. E5 takes, 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 takes. Queen, queen. This is also a really cool line. And if you're prepared, your opponent will most likely lose. I've won a few games here. So 4 queens by move 11. Engine claims 1.3. It's not 1.3 for black. Trust me, it's not. You go on a higher depth, it's closer to equal. But if you guys want, you can analyze this line. Should I continue showing this line? I can show you some very interesting variations. But if you want, I can... Oh, shoot, I forgot. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let's go through this a little bit slowly. Okay. So, knight c3 here. Standard Slav. You can take the pawn, and I say I want to gain the whole center. Okay? You defend the pawn. I say I don't care, I'll play bishop e2. You say, well, never mind, I'll just play e6, open up my bishop, get ready to castle. And you say, well, as you wish, play a4. Okay, the pawn is attacked. What do? You can't play a6 because then I can take and play e5. Because if the knight moves, I take on b5, right? And the rook is unprotected. Okay, so then what do? After a4, you actually play b4. Okay, sure. e5. And now you might be tempted to take here. Knight d5 is not great because then I have knight e4. And this pawn will fall. So you take, I take, you take, I take, you take and make a queen, I take and I make a queen. So 4 queens by move 11. Crazy, right? You give a check on a5. You check my king, I block. You play c3. If I move the knight, you play c2 and my queen hangs. You know what I do? I say, I don't give a flip and I castle. So that's a piece sacrifice, right? Am I crazy? Not really. Pawn takes d2. Bishop takes d2. Queen takes d1. Rook takes d1. Queen takes a4. I'm down a piece. But trust me, things get better. You see the evaluation bar going up. Bishop h5. Wait, bishop h5 first or d5? I can't remember. Let me have a look. Is d5 working? Not here, not here. Okay, you play bishop h5. I have had a game here. Then you play queen h7, queen here. How does he defend? Also, there is bishop h6, by the way. So what does he do? The only move he can do is to play a move like queen b5. That's the only move, by the way. Knight h7, queen takes h7. Not possible to defend f7. So You play a move like queen b5 to go queen f5, and you know what girlfriend played once? d5, sacrificing another pawn. If you take with the queen, this happens to be most natural. Bishop a5, another piece sacrifice. So I'm threatening rook d8 if you move the queen to here. This would be checkmate. And if you take on a5, and you might think you are up too much material, try try to stop bishop takes f7 now. Or queen takes f7. Try to stop this idea with this. I don't know how much material you are up, but you are lost. You are dead lost. So, was this a little bit better speed, would you say, Atharv? Little bit better? Or more slower? Wait, slower or good speed? Which one? So, just say good speed if the speed was okay. Just say okay speed. Yeah, it was perfect. All right, all right, all right. Let's go. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Let's go. Sorry, sometimes I speak too fast. It's my problem. Sorry about that. Yeah, Karokan Tal variation. Let's have a look at it. Karokan Tal variation. So Karokan variation goes something like this, right? Here, Bishop f5, h4, right? This is the Tal variation, no? Or am I mixing something? Hopefully not. Just confirm that this is the Tal variation. Yes. Okay, the move you should play here is h5. h6 is a bit inferior. I think h6 you have to deal with some complications starting with g4 and e6. It's a little bit more complicated. I don't like h6 here. You want to play this position, play h5. This is the move you should be playing. Okay. Now h5, I'm trying to recall. I've seen some sort of trap here, but I'm trying to recall how it goes. There is some trap with bishop e3. Is it bishop e3 here? Then queen b6 and some knight c3 trap. Wait, can you remind me how the trap goes? Isomaniac. There is some trap here. Hi Ram, welcome to the chat. H5, what do they do to trap you? Can't remember how it goes exactly. But I know there is some sort of trap they try to set up. It doesn't work. But generally you can play h5 and the idea here is to put a knight on f5. The main move here has been bishop d3, hasn't it? Bishop takes, queen takes, and the move you should start with is e6. Another idea you can try is to play queen a5, queen a6. This was Capablanca's idea. c3 and queen a6. This was Capablanca's idea. If white takes, the endgame is pretty good for you. Or at least comfortable. So this is a possibility. But people were not playing this. People were doing something else. They played knight c3. And queen a6, they were actually playing queen d1 back. Or some were even playing e6. So what we said was that let's not play queen a5 directly. We were starting with e6. If I am not mistaken. Or were we playing queen a5 e6? Let me have a think. No, e6 was first. Yes. Knight f3, we were playing queen f5 check then. And after knight c3, we were not playing queen a6 directly, but we were putting knight f5 first. Now the subtleties, I don't remember exactly why, but this was my conclusion. If the engine has changed or if there has been more games with queen a6, then be my guest, play that. Else you should go for knight e7, knight f5 first and then play queen a6. Trading the queens is good for you because white has to deal with pressure on d4. So that's one idea. You can't play bishop d3 and then go e6. For example, if you were to play like this, like bishop f5, h4, h6. You can't actually do that, right? Because takes, I can play e6, so I don't allow you to play e6. You can't play. I don't know. Do you mean what do you mean? Like if you exchange the bishops first and then I play e6, so then you don't have anything. Or oh, welcome to Apex Chess. After h6, g4. Yeah, that's why I don't recommend g4. I don't recommend g4. Sorry, I don't recommend h6. I recommend h5. g4 is good. G4 is good. If I were to play this position, I would play h5. This is a better move than h6, in my opinion. So h6, this line is tricky. Like this line is actually tricky. You have to go bishop e4 if I remember correctly. You have to go this first. And then you play e6, queen d6. Like this is tricky, but I don't prefer it for white. You can play it if you want. How do you prepare these openings? Oh, you love this line. Alright, if you like this, then be my guest. But you've got to be prepared with the engine against a strong opponent. How do you prepare these openings? Well, one thing is you have to see top level games because essentially they have prepared these openings in much more depth. So when you're seeing top level games, you are essentially knowing their preparation. Once you know their preparation, you can improvise upon it by looking for your own ideas, either yourself or with an engine. That's how really it works. But you use top level games as a reference point. Try to see what moves are they playing more commonly because they are using the strongest engines in the world. And if they are playing a move, they are doing it for a reason. I'm not completely recalling the line, but somehow bishop trade happened on h7 and then e6. But think about it logically. If white were to trade the bishops, then you could play e6 on the next move. So I don't think such a line is possible. You can't you can't trade the bishops first and then go e6. I don't think that would be possible. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just play h5, just keep it simple. You'll find lots of games here on Chessbase. What you want to do is go to Chessbase. Yeah, that's what I think as well, Apex. You got to play e6 first if you want to go for that sort of line. But if you play h5, then none of this is possible. So I prefer h5. But yeah, you can choose for yourself. If you're fine with those gambit lines with e6, then by all means. But let's have a look at the other games. What's going on? Atharv, you have any other questions before I start commentating? We'll be very happy to answer them. Okay, let's start commentating. If there are any questions, I'll just pause. So, nothing special here, has there been? Takes. We were looking at this exchange French, and now Praggnanandhaa seems to have no problems. Like he can play long castle, he can play bishop e7. All of them work. All of them work. Nothing special here. How's Mr. Nakamura doing? Like, my bets were on Nakamura to win the candidates. Is he going to prove me right or no? I mean, there is nothing more than Gukesh winning the candidates. I mean, I would love for Gukesh to win, but I thought Naka's going to win. Like, I want to see Gukesh winning, but I think Naka will win. Does chess also your mind? Like, sometimes during midnight, you can't really differentiate. Differentiate. Wait, studying while stream? Oh, you are studying while watching the stream. Okay. Well, no, it used to, not anymore because I'm not as much engaged in chess as I was before. But yeah, sometimes like I would be solving positions in my dreams. Yeah, not anymore, unfortunately. The thing is, you can leave chess, but chess can't leave you. Like, it's like an addiction, it's a big addiction. Like, you can try to stop playing chess, somehow it ends up finding you back. Can you lucid dream? I think it's possible, right? There are some methods to do that. There are some methods to do that, but I don't know what they are. As far as I know, it's possible. Do you know that hypnosis is also possible? Hypnosis is possible. Like hypnosis or lucid dream? Which one? So, what actually happens in a lucid dream? You can control your thoughts or actions. What exactly is lucid dreaming? Let me know. Until then, I'll just commentate. So, Fabi Vidit has opened up a little bit. Knight d5, very open position. Always a tiny, tiny edge for white. Tiny, tiny edge because, like, these bishops are really good. But also, you can argue this bishop is strong as well. So, maybe closer to equal. But is it good for white to take here and claim a dominance after knight b3, bishop e3? You might think, why am I giving black the bishop pair in an open position? The reason I'm doing that is to trade the dark square bishop. If I manage to trade the dark square bishops like this, then I have a dominant position because the knight on d4 will occupy an outpost. You can occupy an outpost. You are aware you are in a dream, so you can fly, do whatever you think you can. So let's say sometimes while having dreams, I actually knew I was in a dream. So was I lucid dreaming by definition? Like sometimes I actually know I'm in a dream. Is that lucid dreaming? You just know you're in a dream. Everything you can think can happen in a dream. Ah, okay. All right. All right. Wow. That's crazy. So like you can lucid dream about beating Magnus. That's possible, right? Why is Ram talking like it's dark arts or something? You can alter the direction of your dream. He's talking about dark arts. He's talking about dark arts. So, like, I can also be in the Harry Potter world, can't I be? That would be crazy. But let's see. Okay, I was about to commentate on one of the games. Nakamura Firuza. What has this become? Castle. I don't know why there is an exclamation mark. What do you do if not castling? But Nakamura has played this pretty correctly. Bishop e2 was best, knight b4 was best, queen d2 was best. Rook c1, stopping knight c2 ideas, pretty good. Knight g4, bishop f4, not bad, preserving the bishop pair. He sacks a pawn, but castles. And essentially, this pawn will fall after white plays a3. So Nakamura hasn't blundered a pawn, he has sacrificed it. If you play d4 to gain some attack, knight b5 is pretty dangerous. You can play d3, which actually looks dangerous for white at first sight, but rook c5, pawn takes e2, and rook e1 is an absolutely brilliant move. You can't take because there is bishop d3. Like, you could not have taken on the previous move. So now if you play knight d3, Nakamura has calculated knight takes f5, and this is all good for white. Like, not too difficult calculation. Like, this might seem difficult, it's not. You can lucid dream, you can find products for that. During your sleep cycle, you often wake up in the middle of the night, perhaps around 3 4 a.m. Okay. Rams, when you wake up, just lie back down, close your eyes, and imagine you are in a field. Okay. International masters playing women's candidates. Can a FIDE master also play candidates at some point? Well, that would be a dream come true, no? The thing is, for that, I would need to play chess full time. Like, if I was playing chess full time or if I was practicing full time, I would probably get to a GM level, even a strong GM. But, well, that would require me devoting my whole life to chess, nothing else. And I'm not willing to do that. Because you devote all your life to that game and there is no guarantee, especially at the age I am at. So, like, I'm already 19 years old, right? Like, soon enough, I would be working, like, I'll complete university, and then if I'm still trying to play chess and suppose it doesn't work out, then the opportunity cost is way too big. Alright, when you are in a lucid dream, you can actually learn. Vishali is not a grandmaster yet, no. I don't think Vishali got her final norm, did she? I doubt. Oh wow, that's crazy, Ram. Yes, but okay, this is good. Let's look at the other games. We got we got Abasov. Yeah, Gukesh Abasov was interesting, right? Let me refresh this one. Guys, do share the stream with your friends as well if you're liking it. Oh, well, so FIDE doesn't, you don't say FIDE doesn't recognize it, it's gone for approval. That means, oh, brother sister GM duo, yes, you're right, yes, you're right. Yeah, she did become a GM, yes. But Salimova, who's playing, Salimova is an IM for sure. Salimova is an IM. Yes, yes, yes. Atharv, you're right. Guys, do share the stream with your friends. I would really appreciate that. Apparently, you guys are liking it. I would assume, hopefully, fingers crossed. If you guys are liking it, do share it with your friends because that motivates me to keep on streaming. So, Rogue Day 1, also leave a like. Leave a like right now. Like right now. And then Rook D1. Okay. So he did not take on 5, which we were predicting. He played H4 instead. Was H4 really necessary? Is that bad move, but was it really necessary? I don't know. Queen C7 best move. Now the queen will already be guarding the C5 pawn after white takes. I take with the pawn and the queen already guards it. So all those Rook B1, Rook B5 plans are now useless. So, like, you could still play Rook B1, and but after takes, now you don't have quick attack as white because E5 pawn is hanging. By the way, this is a bug on chess.com site, not my side. I'll just have to go back to the game. H4 was not necessary. I would not have played H4. But okay, now Rook D1. So now white has confirmed that he is trying to preserve pieces. And he can't take because there is bishop f4, which wins the rook. So you have to take on e4. This is what Gukesh's best move is. I mean, he could just castle as well, but taking actually helps him. Well, now Engine changes his mind. Let me evaluate from a human perspective. Would I take on e4? Let me assess. Okay, if I take bishop takes, I can't play castle, I can play f5. So bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, f5 is what I'm thinking about. All human, I'm not checking the engine. Trying to evaluate from my perspective. f5 takes, knight takes, bishop g6 check, king e7, bishop f4 d6. f5 takes, bishop g6, king e7, bishop f4 d6. King will be in the center, but it can hide to f8 later. Feels like that gives white something to play for. I would not take just yet, maybe. I'll probably play rook c8 then. Engine claims bishop e4 is fine. I don't know. From a human perspective, looks a little bit suspicious. F5, he can play bishop G2. He can probably even en passant. Oh, there's queen G3, which I missed. Okay, he can't en passant. He plays bishop G2, and then you have castles. Now, from a human perspective, with this knight on h7, I don't know how good this is for white or black, but e5 pawn is weak, and so are these pawns. And if you play bishop f4, I have g5. So you have to play queen e2, I have to play rook d8. And then, I mean, I'm trying to achieve d6. If I can achieve d6 comfortably, I'm of course doing great as black. Can I achieve d6? Not right now because takes queen e6. So let's say I play knight f8. Or can I play g5? No, g5 would be weakening. Let me play knight f8. h5 d6. Pawn takes, bishop takes. Okay, if black is fine here, then of course he should go for this. But Gukesh has to see like 6 moves deep, which he can. So if you calculate 6 moves deep, you can realize that bishop takes e4 is actually correct. I also had to check queen takes e4. But then I can just castle, right? And then f5 again. This seems good. I think this is possible. Why not attack c5 pawn first? What's the line then? We just saw it like some moves ago, no? So if you were to take and play bishop e3, firstly there is takes and probably queen takes e5. Oh, there's bishop f4, I just said that. But castles, you can't launch an attack because you didn't do it earlier. So, I mean, how do you attack this pawn more? You have to defend f6 as well. So this becomes a little bit inferior compared to the previous position. So you could play, I don't know, rook d1 seems like the only move. And then rook b7 so that there is no bishop f4 trickery. And then I can take on e5. Ritik, welcome to the chat. Never seen you here before. So new people coming in. I love that. Can Fabi win this game? Your take. I want him to win. Well, I love Fabiano as well. So let's have a look. Fabiano deserves to win the cup as well. I don't know. I don't know. I think the best shot for the win was to take on d5. I thought this was the best chance for the win. To play knight b3, play bishop e3, exchange the dark square bishops, and play a textbook good knight versus bad bishop situation. This is what I thought he should have done. But with bishop c2, I am not entirely sure right now. Can he still play for a win? The game is still on. You're still trying for knight g5 sort of things. So the game is still on in that sense. Let's say knight f6 to defend h7, knight g5, bishop d5. I don't know. What do you do to play for a win here? Like bishop c4, knight h7, these sort of things. Queen e4, knight f6 maybe, and queen e7. Yeah, this I don't know. I don't know. You have the pair of bishops, but I have 3 pawns. You have 2. a5 pawn could be weak. Queen c5 is coming. I don't know. I don't know. Feels a little bit I don't know, feels a little bit equalish to me. Oh, bishop a6, so that means you're talking about the c4 pawn, not the c5 pawn. That's why I got a bit confused. If you were to play, let's say, queen c7, and now let's say a move like rook d1, which was played, if you play bishop a6, this actually doesn't work out. Queen a4, rook d7 ideas are there. Queen a4 is always annoying. Bishop b7 I can take, and after takes I have queen takes a7, and now all these pieces collapse one by one. Rook b1 is coming. Fabi has a has a chance, but it's not too much. Like he has a chance, but I mean, you can agree to disagree how big it is. That was a suspicious statement. Knight e4, bishop b7, h4, rook b1. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Nijat is trying to do. I don't think Nijat has a rook d1. I mean, yeah, Gukesh could create or bishop e4, and I'm yet to see a plan from Abasov's side. Let's say we make a move like rook c8. Is there knight d6 or no? Bishop d6, e d6, queen b8, queen captures, and the pawns are weak in the long term. Yeah. So Nijat has to find some concrete attacking plans. Concrete attacking plans. Who's my favorite? Out of these players or in general? Alireza Hikaru game is awesome. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Like, okay, we already have sacrificed a pawn. More progress here, right? At least not on my screen. So I've already shown this game. What Hikaru's done is that he's trying to play knight b5 or a3, and then he gained back the d5 pawn, and then he attacks the c7 pawn. So yeah. Who's my favorite both? Well, my favorite like a few weeks ago, I would have said it is Magnus, of course, but these days it's Hans. Hans is my favorite right now. And in the candidate favorite, I would say I want to say Hikaru. No. In candidates, my favorite is Fabiano, but I want Hikaru to win. I think Hikaru's World Championship match would be more interesting. I want Hikaru or Gukesh to win. Let's just put it that way. Hikaru or Gukesh, one of them. But my genuine favorite player in the candidates is Fabiano. Since he's out of form, I am expecting Hikaru to win or Gukesh. But Nepo's good as well. However, I like Fabiano and Hikaru a lot. Who else is there? Alireza, not a huge fan. I guess that was a subconscious decision. I don't think it came down to who. It came down to me thinking who's my favorite player and then putting them on thumbnail. It was a subconscious decision. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Ali Reza's not even trying. He's not focused. He's interested more in the fashion industry. Like we don't know why he's here. He's not trying for anything. And like if he's not trying for anything, he might as well have given a spot to someone else. If you're playing the tournament, at least try. So all I'm expecting here is that Nakamura to put Firoza under some pressure, and then we can see some cool play. We can see some domination by Hikaru. Because realistically, Alireza has no incentive to win. He's not going to win the candidates. He doesn't care about chess anymore as much. So honestly, if Alireza ends up in a defensive position, I'm expecting Hikaru to win. He'll collapse psychologically, I would assume. Is Hikaru up on the clock? He is up on the clock. I mean, did he not tell his father that he doesn't want to play chess? So am I saying something which is opposite to that? No, like I'm just saying what he said to his father, right? So I'm just quoting their conversation in one sense. They look scary. They look scary. Someone asked about knight takes f2, right? I don't think you would really want to give up two pieces for a rook. I would highly doubt. Four minor pieces for white. This looks really dangerous. Like, look at this attack. A3. Nakamura has concretely calculated that white pieces are not dangerous. Black pieces are not dangerous. Apologies. So The thing is, the pieces will not look scary once A3 and H3 are there. So they'll not look scary anymore. That's the plan. No, I know it was sarcasm. I definitely know that. But I was just being logical. Like I'm just quoting them, no? But I understand your sarcasm. The question is, will Kramnik be coming after Hikaru if Hikaru wins the thing? What do you think? Will Kramnik make more allegations? Maybe Hikaru's dubious openings were being checked by Engine all along or something? Something like that? That would be an equivalent situation to what you're talking about. Would be fun to see though. All these Kramnik allegations and then Hikaru wins the thing. That would be a huge slap to Kramnik. One thing I always wonder is like, I still don't know the answer to this question. Kramnik defeated Kasparov in their World Championship match. So why is Kramnik not in the GOAT list? If we think Kasparov is the GOAT and then Kramnik ended his reign, why is Kramnik not in the GOAT list? That's what I'm still trying to figure out. And he was dominant for a good period of time. He was dominant for a good period of time, wasn't he? So why is he not in the GOAT list? We still consider him to be a legend of chess. Well, not after the allegations that he made, but before that, he was still a legend of chess. However, why is he not in the GOAT list? What do you think, guys? He's not in the GOAT list. In the GOAT list, we only have three players: Bobby Fischer, Magnus, and Kasparov. There are no other players in the GOAT list so far. Like that's the consensus of the chess community. What am I talking about? I'm talking about no, Anand is known as the legend of chess. He's another legend of chess, but we are talking about the greatest of all time. So in that list, we only have three players. It's not a formal list. It's the general consensus of the chess world. So the general consensus is that only three players make it to the greatest of all time list, which is Magnus Carlsen, Bobby Fischer, and Gary Kasparov. No other players. Morphy is not in the GOAT list because Morphy would not survive today's Grandmasters. Well, unless he had the resources, in which case we don't know. But Morphy was good, but his opponents were rated close to like 2100 in today's strength. So we can't technically include him in the GOAT list. Kasparov's opponents were strong grandmasters, like genuinely strong players. Fischer's opponents were genuinely strong players. So we can't really say about Morphy. Morphy is absolute legend, but he doesn't come into the GOAT list. GOAT is greatest of all time, in case someone doesn't know. And now we got what do we have? We have any developments here? Let me refresh. Rookie 8 played. I'm expecting A3 very soon. I don't think any other move is possible. Maybe H3,
I don't like.
but I like white a lot. I like white a lot. A3 take on D5. I love open positions, as you guys can tell. I'm a big fan of open positions. Guys, I am not a bullet player. I am not good. I'm well, for my level, I'm actually pretty decent at bullet, but I don't play bullet. Bullet rating, my peak, I think on chess.com is like 2500, 2600. So it's pretty decent, but I don't enjoy playing bullet. I think it's more of a reaction time test or like a mouse moving test. So I don't really play bullet. Blitz is still okay. I like blitz. But since I haven't been practicing for a little bit, I have slowed down a bit, as you could probably tell in today's stream. I'm a little bit slow. Still can find great moves, but bit slow. That's all. Have I met Magnus ever? Yes, I have. Yes, not personally, but I've seen him in front of me. So this is we are talking about London Chess Classic 2019, 2500, 2600, somewhere about that. Yeah, on chess.com, I think. So my brother is actually better than me at Bullet. You could argue. You could argue. He plays Bullet all the time, and he's like 2000 FIDE. And he you can probably say he's better than me at Bullet. So yeah, is this like all this mouse moving and the reaction time thing? I don't understand. He plays Hyper Bullet as well. So yeah, what was the question? Even Fisher and Kasparov may have engines today. How they were at their peak. But Keshav, realize we are also saying that the opponents were of like close to strength. Like we had Morphy and then we had no one close to him. So we could not really compare with him to a player of an equivalent strength. So like, for Magnus, he had to beat Caruana, he had to beat Nepo. Like for Paul Morphy, no one was close to his strength. Like you can only make a case for Anderson, but that's about it. Anderson did play Morphy, right? Yeah, he did. I'm living in London right now. Yeah. Yeah. There will be more interaction. It would be fun. I don't think he'll join the stream, and I don't. He'll be very introverted on the stream, I would assume. But I can try. I can try. Maybe next stream. The thing is, even if I have to figure out how to put someone else's screen here. Like, I have to first do a Zoom call and then put his image here or something. Like his video here. Sorry. I'll have to figure that out as well. Don't know yet. Still new to streaming, as you guys can tell. So what does ChessBase India do? They when they invite people, they do a Zoom call, right? And then they put their videos. Is that what they do? I'm getting yeses, so that's what I assume. Landon, what's Landon? Landon? Oh, the pronunciation, my accent. You're making fun of my accent, are you? Do they actually do audio on Discord? Are you joking? Do they seriously? Okay, come on, Atharv, come on. Let's be a bit more mature here. Come on. You guys are trying to get me cancelled so early on. I'm not innocent. I promise you, I'm not innocent. You guys are trying to get me cancelled already. You know, before you know, there will be clips of me saying these things, and then suddenly I'm getting infamous on YouTube. Like, is this how you guys want me to get viral? Saying these things? Really? If four people are on stream and Sagar and Samay commentate on the other two players' game, they take the audio to Discord and mute the Zoom so the players can't hear. Sagar and Samay commentate and the other two players. Ah. Hmm. And how does the audio from Discord get recorded into. Atharv, you're moving mad, bro. You're moving mad. Atharv, you gotta chill. Okay, I've noted your point, Keshav. So I'll try this Discord thing. I didn't know about this, but I'll try. But let's see what's happening here. Like we're still looking for A3, no? I thought you gotta chill. You gotta chill. And now we got Knight F8. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty equal, right? Gukesh will grind. Let's see Gukesh's position. He's got to castle. Okay, Gukesh took on e4. Excellent idea. We were discussing about this. So, we said the six move idea. We said if like we said, if Gukesh calculates six moves and he assesses this properly, he is allowed to take on e4. He did calculate everything. He now has gotten a solid position, and now Nijat does not have any attack without the knights. Without the knights, Nijat cannot sacrifice on h6. And the pawn structure is trash, yes. So the only way for Nijat is to probably look for a maneuver like bishop f1 and then bishop d3. Like, that's the only way I can think of. He can still try to put pressure on the d7 pawn. Those are the two ideas really. Combine this somehow. Okay, bishop f4 is good. Now he's got to double up to put pressure on d7, or he has to try something like bishop f1, bishop d3 to get some pressure here. Both of them don't look like they can work, but it's up to Nijat what he wants to do. I don't think there can be big pressure on d7. Let's say I tried rook d2. Let's say black plays rook d8 first of all. Already supported this twice. So you play rook d2. I play, I don't know, g5. Even that's possible. Bishop e3. I trade and all of your pawns are weak. And you're not getting play against d7. So I like Gukesh's position. I think it's easier to play. And we discussed how legendary Gukesh's preparation was, this h6 idea. And does Gukesh need to win all games to win candidates? No, he just needs to win more than Nepo. He just needs to win more than Nepo. Why? Well, family members are not allowed, but so actually, yeah, let's think about why would you put a 15-minute delay? Yes, if there was no 15-minute delay, then you could actually take a suspicious instrument with you to the playing hall. You know what I'm talking about, the suspicious instrument. And then someone watching the stream online could Morse code you the moves, the best moves, if there was no delay. You know what I'm talking about, right? So if I was watching the game live, I could be Morse coding someone moves. When did Gukesh? You can tell that by the time, right? Well, he's out of time actually. Guys, don't. Okay, you guys are trying to put me in a controversy, and I'm just started the YouTube. Come on, guys. Like, I've just started YouTubing, and you guys are already willing to put me in a controversy. I don't want no smoke. Not right now. But is Gukesh out of prep? Let's see. Is Gukesh out of prep? E4, knight h7, e5. Gukesh took a lot of time after rook d1, and rook d1 was not the engine's move, so Gukesh was out of prep around this point, after queen c7, I would assume. He even took some time for queen c7, so he was out of prep here. But he knows the position ideas. And he can spend the time on his clock, so he's doing okay. Rajat Dalal, yes, I do know Rajat Dalal. I've spoken to him once. Yes, how do you know Rajat Dalal? I think it was Rajat Dalal. Yeah, I think I've spoken to him. Yeah. What? How? So so if I know Magnus, am I Norwegian? If I know if I know an American, if I know Hans, am I American? No, I don't know his. I don't know his controversies. No, no, no. I don't want to get into it. Let's stick to chess. Yeah. So bishop f4, b is coming. Like, Gukesh could actually play b5, put c3 under pressure, but I don't know. Engine suggests b5. I'm of the view that we should not go for it. The reason for that is that I don't like getting rid of these double pawns. I think there are weaknesses. So I don't know. b5 is the engine's idea, but somehow I'm not convinced. Maybe on a different depth, engine would say something else. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. G5 is a possible move. Yeah, G5 is possible. I think it can be timed a little later. You should play G5 when you can make tactics against E5 work. I don't see tactics against E5 yet, but it's a possibility. Because after G5, pawn takes, bishop has to move, most likely to E3, and then we can trade the dark square bishops. Why not double down the C file to move the bishop C5 again and attack C5 as sap? Yeah, I mean, that seems like a reasonable plan. The thing is, Gukesh can always put a bishop on F1. When the bishop comes to F1, the C4 pawn cannot be taken. F6 would be a blunder, no? E takes F6, your queen hangs. E takes F6, your queen hangs. So the thing is, like, doubling up directly doesn't perfectly help because bishop on F1 always defends the C4 pawn. So even though it may look easy to you all, it might seem like a good position for Gukesh, which it is. Breaking it apart is not so easy. It's like a similar situation in the Gukesh Fabiano game where Fabiano was sitting with a fortress and Gukesh could not break it. He had some advantage, he was pressing, but Fabiano made a. Atharv, this joke has been tried on Sagar Shah's stream. So, I'm not innocent, as you can probably tell. This has been tried on Sagar Shah's stream. Should he exchange queens and then try attacking the weak pawns? Exchanging queens is in black's favor. Exchanging queens is definitely in black's favor. No, wait. No, exchanging queens is not exactly in black's favor because d7 is also a weakness. So if you have weaknesses on c3, c4, black has a weakness on d7, and then black is fine. No, exchanging queens is not correct right now for black. Not right now, but in the future, yes. In the future, yes. Suppose we can exchange black's knight. Suppose we can exchange black's knight with white's g2 bishop. Then queen trade is better for black because then c4 pawn cannot be supported by the f1 bishop. I'll put it on the board. You want to exchange this knight for this bishop because then c4 cannot be protected. Then queen trade is good. Not right now. Did I watch Samay stream with Chessbase Hindi? No, not with Chessbase Hindi. The stream which I watched was the one where Chessbase invited Hans and Samay. That's the one I know. But nothing else. Yeah. Then we have what? Fabiano slowly taking over. Like, where was the Fabiano fan? Someone was it's not trapped, it will help achieve g7, g5 I mean, and or it can go to f8. It's not trapped, it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Fabiano, who was the Fabiano fan? This guy, some guy asked me, is Fabiano going to win? Where is he? Who asked me about Fabiano? Some new guy, I think. Yeah, Ritik Hans. Ritik Hans. Nice. Oh, bye. It was great seeing you, Atharv. But yeah, for now, bye. This was a crazy prep. It was indeed. It was indeed. And now, seems like Fabiano's taking over a little bit. I think what Fabi can do right now is like, firstly, he has taken away the beautiful d5 square away, and now he can go for b3, bishop b2. And these bishops look monsters, look like monsters. Now he goes for the trade. Okay, it's possible because you weaken some dark squares here. Indian is not a huge fan, but practically speaking, it's possible. Okay, he had to deal with knight g6, knight f4 as well. So Bishop f4 was not too bad either. Knight g6 and then rook d1. Injun says bishop g6. That's not a human move. At least not here. There are places where you give up your bishop pair, but here it looks inhuman. What's the idea? I would have played rook d1, but what's bishop g6? H g6, rook d1, queen c8, simply b3, and you claim this bishop is dominated because knight g5, you bring the queen to h4 and you try for checkmate. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You don't have enough attackers, like you just count the attacker and defenders and you can realize. Like takes, queen takes, I have 1, 2, and potentially 3 defenders. So after a move like knight h2, which is the covering all the key squares, the attack doesn't work. If you had, let's say, like a knight on h4, then it would work. But you simply don't have enough attackers. A queen cannot win by itself. A queen cannot win by itself. White is better here. You can take on b3 and this gets interesting. Like, I have to play queen e2. And you can claim you have some attack, but it's not that much. I mean, eventually white is better. Rook d7 comes in. Alright. Alright. Great. Great. Awesome. VD will hold Fabi to draw at worst after yesterday's painful loss. VD ain't going to give up Fabi so easily. Yeah, I would assume. I would assume so. The thing is, Fabiano really needs to have realistic chances because Nepo doesn't seem like he's giving up. I mean, he doesn't have a bad position here. It's okay for Praggnanandhaa, but not losing for Nepo. Pretty solid for Nepo. So, yeah, I'm not expecting Nepo to lose as well. Well, Nepo loses in one case if Praggnanandhaa actually plays like Hikaru, like positional domination. That's the only case in which Nepo loses, but I don't see this happening. I don't see it happening right now. But VD lost yesterday. Yeah, he went for the complicated draw and he lost, yes. VD could have actually even won if he had if he had calculated some variations correctly. So he could have actually won as well, which was actually quite surprising because Nepo Niashi had got the dream position out of the opening. So that was actually a little bit, strange. Strange. Okay, okay. But what else? What else? We got this game. Let's see another game. No updates here, right? I'll refresh to see, but I don't think there have been any updates. Only rook d8. So Gukesh has put d8, telling Abasov that doubling doesn't really help. The pawn is already protected twice. So now the best plan for Abasov is to play bishop f1 and go bishop d3. This is the best thing he can do right now. But rook d2 is the second best move, but practically achieves nothing. So I'm expecting bishop f1 by Abasov. This is called maneuvering. We got who we got else? Who else we got? Yeah, here. A3, E4. Wow, this has gotten sharp. A3, D4. Now Naka can play knight A4 or Naka can take. Well, if Nakamura wants to keep things simple, he can take. And then queens get queen. He can trade or take on C3. Like this looks objectively better to me. Like this is keeping things very simple and putting pressure here. If you take, this is not really good. Then I have bc5 or queen c5. Both are okay. Queen c5 looks better because it attacks both the pieces. This seems okay for Nakamura. So like he can always keep things simple. AB4 is his bailout. Does he want to play knight a4? That's up to him. It's also a move. And then d3, bishop d1, bishop f2, these things get sharp. Because of the pawn on d3, maybe this two pieces sacrifice is fine. Knight c2, complicated stuff. Bishop c2, dc2, although I still like white. I mean, I cover all the key squares, so no need to worry about queen d1. That means knight d4 can come in. Knight d4, knight c2, yeah. I don't know, it's up to Hikaru. What's the time in London? It's 9:43 p.m. 9:43. I mean, I should really be going soon, but let's see what happens. Nepo looks a little bit nervous in the video. I can see. I can see. Yeah. But it's up to Hikaru, no? Like, it's so curious. Like, Nepo's on 7, Gukesh is on 6.5, Hikaru 6.5, and Fabiano 6. Like, the basically the contender is amongst these four players. 6, 6.5, 6.5, 7. Nepo, Gukesh, Nakamura, Fabi. And rightfully so. This seems like a fair list. This seems like a fair list of contenders, possible contenders. Fair enough, fair enough. So, who's going to actually be emerging victorious? Who will triumph? Gukesh for the win. Yeah, 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 yeah. Gukesh for the win. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not really interested in seeing Nepo for the third time. But if he does go in for the third time, I hope for him to win. But yeah, I'm not expecting him, or let's say, I'm not the biggest fan of him winning for the third time, like the candidates. I would love for Hikaru or Gukesh to win, or Fabi, even Fabi, because the rightful world champion who hasn't been crowned is Fabiano. Fabiano deserves the title. He went neck to neck against Carlsen, didn't he? So Fabiano definitely deserves. Fabi, Naka, Gukesh. But also Gukesh because he could be the youngest world champion. And that would be a huge deal for India. But right now, I don't see much. Guys, while these games are going slow, do you want me to show you some chess stuff? Like, ask me something about chess openings or something. Because it's boring when the moves are not being made. Especially since I'm commentating by myself. So ask me anything about chess or in general. Yeah, yeah, it was. It was. Do you guys remember the Karyakin World Championship? Karyakin also actually took the lead over Carlsen in his World Championship match. It was like one match before Fabi was Karyakin versus Carlsen for the World Championship. That was actually amazing as well. These guys were fighting it out. Like Karyakin was getting a win, then Carlsen was winning, then Karyakin winning again. So that was really interesting. And in that World Championship match, Carlsen played Tromposki in his first game, which was actually so mind blowing because Tromposki is not a top level opening. But Carlsen played Tromposki and it was a very interesting game. And I remember, you know what I remember about that match? The games would start at like 11 p.m. Indian time 11 p.m. Indian time, and they would still be going on when I would be waking up for school. That's how I remember the Karyakin match because I would watch the games starting at 11. I would watch for an hour, then I would go to sleep, and I would wake up, and the games would still be going on. Pretty crazy. Intricacies of King's Indian defense. Any funny line if you can share? The King's Indian doesn't get funny. That's the problem. But there are some cool lines. Oh, that's what's happening here. So when you guys go to sleep and you wake up, the games are still going on. Is that what happens as well? Yeah, because King's Indian is a risky opening, double-edged to say the least. If you're playing King's Indian and you lose, well, then your candidate's chances decrease, right? To win the candidates. But if you can get like a solid draw from black, then you can try to play aggressive as white. That's what all these guys are trying. Yeah. King's Indian, I can show you a cool line which Firuza was trying. Like I have tried this and this was Firuza's preparation as well. So what Firuza was doing was that he was playing this line. I'm trying to recall a funny line. I can't remember a funny line, but Firuza was trying this thing, and even quite a few games with it. Like, this is the main thing of the King's Indian, and like the absolute main move here has been knight e1. Firuza did play knight e1 as well, my bad. And after knight d7, Firuza was going for knight d3 and not bishop e3. He was going for knight d3, and after f5, he was either playing b4 directly or he was playing f3 first. I don't know if it makes a difference, but let's say it will transpose. Firuza was keeping the bishop on c1. Usually the bishop goes to d2 or e3. Firuza was keeping the bishop here, and after knight f6, Firuza was going this idea with b4. And f4, c5, g5, a4, knight g6, a5. This is what Firuza was doing. And after h5, he was putting a knight on f2. The other thing was that if people were playing rook f7, I think he was playing b5 first or bishop a3, but something like this. And then when they were going bishop f8, he was going king h1. They were going rook g7, he was going rook g1. And then he was playing g3 to even attack on the king side, which I thought was pretty cool. Because on the King's Indian, you usually try to attack on the queen side, but he was also doing king h1, rook g1, g3 ideas. This was pretty fascinating. No, he could play knight f2. He could play knight f2. It's also an idea. But he was playing knight f2 after h5, as I remember. He was playing knight f2 only after black had played h5. Even I had a game against a game like this. And this game was against what you call buddy, Carlsen's buddy, Pranavanand. I think I played against Pranavanand here. I was only 2200 at the time, and Pranavanand was like 2400 or 2500. And this is how our game went as well. So I was actually using Firuza's line. Pretty good, pretty good. So you can explore that. The other line which is possible, which I am aware of, is this one. Yeah, Carlsen calls him buddy, no? Like we had this sort of YouTube thing. Like he said Pranav is buddy and buddy is Pranav. Unless I'm mixing people. I think it was against Pranav Anand. Yeah, no? Hopefully I'm not mixing names. The other line which is interesting here, as far as I know, there is something with king h1, rook g1, g4, or maybe g4 right away. I think I've seen this one before. f5, f3, you try to lock up the king side and then you play on the queen side. It doesn't actually work. It was tried, but black can get enough play on the king side anyways with h5 stuff. You can analyze this, but this was a try which has been seen from time to time. You say that you make like some sort of a fortress here, it actually doesn't work. You can analyze. This was also something. I'm trying to recall other interesting stuff. Like Bayonet is another big one. This was Kramnik's preparation against Kasparov to beat him in the World Championship matches, and this is till date the strongest weapon against King's Indian, with the consensus. With the consensus, like that's what the consensus is. That like B4 is the strongest weapon against King's Indian till date, and this guy Kramnik found it in the 90s. in the 90s. Imagine. Like he analyzed this likely, and his lines were actually equivalent to today's engine's lines. So pretty sick move B4 if you guys wanna try it out. But there's also another line, the old main line, which goes with knight D instead of knight E1. So you can play knight D2, and if knight D7, you can play B4. In this case, whenever you get C5, you can actually put a knight on C4, which is an excellent square. I've tried this time to time, and it works pretty well. You can try this line. You play C5, sometimes you even sack a pawn with C5, and then put a knight on C4 to pressure D6. This is something you can also try. Okay, that's all my insights. Any other thing? Any other opening? Oh, his ego got hurt. Like, imagine you. Yeah, it was in semi Slav. It was actually because I play semi Slav as black as well. So I have studied that game and I'm just waiting for the day I can use it. So, of course, it's in semi Slav and yeah, great game. But I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. So why is Kramnik acting like this? The ego is hurt. Imagine you were a world champion beating Kasparov and now you are losing to random IMs. Imagine, like, you are just not willing to accept that, you've gotten old, you are a bit out of shape. He is thinking that he's still in his prime and he can still, you know, is on the level equivalent of beating Kasparov. So essentially, his ego is getting hurt. That's all. That is all. Yeah. Essentially, yeah. I mean, imagine, like, even like I know when I'm in shape and when I'm in not. So like if I lose to like someone my strength right now, there is nothing that would be, like nothing that would make me emotionally unstable because I know I'm a little bit out of shape, but not too much. So in that sense, like having some self-awareness really helps. But also I don't like what Hikaru's saying. Like Hikaru keeps on saying that he's playing for content even in the candidates match when he's actually trying his best. We can see from his moves. So in one sense, he's using it as a cover up. Essentially, I think like there is no harm in acknowledging that you are actually trying to win the cup, but I don't know why he's so reluctant to do so. What's your thoughts? Yeah, maybe he's just that's what he's trying to tell himself, not us. He's trying to tell himself that he's just playing for content, when in fact he actually isn't. Okay, any other questions? Game we got who else have we got? We got no movement here. Hikaru has played knight b5, which was the not the best line of engine, was it? But engine agrees now. So okay, it was the third line of engine. The first line was knight a4. Second line was simplification with ab4. The third line was knight b5. They're all actually good. Hikaru calculated and he likes knight b5 a bit more. d3, rook c5. We did see this, no? Something similar, rook e1. You don't take the pawn right away because there is bishop d3. No, there is rook takes e2, sorry. What am I on about? Rook e1. And yeah, I mean, this pawn will fall. If knight d3, then rook f5. So this is what we were talking about. And bishop f4, bc5. Like, my preference was to take on b4, but Hikaru has another plans. I thought this keeps the game pretty simple. And like, this is definite advantage for, at least slight advantage for white. Definite though. Bishop d6, I can take, queen takes, and my thought was I could play bb5 and take on c7. I mean, Rook d1 is coming. I thought like this is a pretty good position to play for. But of course, I did not calculate in as much depth as Hikaru. So he thinks knight b5 is better. We'll go for it. I've heard Nakamura has changed a lot since his Twitch career. He used to be super arrogant. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. But bro, he says almost everyone is cheating, whoever defeats him. I've seen him say that a few times on stream. He doesn't do that for everyone, I think, but I've seen him say that time to time. And how do you know he's not wrong? He could be right, no? Like beating Nakamura is an easy thing. But yeah, if he says it too much, then that's wrong. Then that's wrong. Absolutely wrong. Like engine can actually tell you like what's the probability of someone cheating in that particular game. And especially if it's 3-0, the chances reduce. In 3 plus 2, chances increase. It can happen to anyone, and he has spent that much time playing chess, studying chess, and if Kramnik says someone is cheating, we should give it to him. But no, yeah, I agree with Keshav. Like Kramnik is saying everyone is cheating. Like Kramnik said this guy Tihon Chernaev, who's a Ukrainian prodigy, was cheating, but he was actually on stream explaining his moves. So like that got refuted right away. And Tihon has been streaming for so long that we know he's actually legit. Like he's such a great guy. Tihon Chernaev. You can check. 14-year-old, I think. Prodigy. He made mistakes in that game as well. But Kramnik thought he was definitely cheating. But Kramnik is saying everyone is cheating. Like you should read about the Kramnik Josepim controversy. Kramnik thought Josepim was cheating and Josepim is. Yeah, you should check Tihon. Maybe a little bit incorrect, but not too far. And Josepim Kramnik. Kramnik thought this guy was cheating and he's 3000 in chess.com blitz. Like 3000, 3100. It should be Joseph M. Kramnik. What do we think? Yeah. So I don't know what Kramnik is doing, but back in the day, Kramnik was a monster. Another monster who fell off was one of my favorite players, Vasily Ivanchuk. Check out his games though. Shout out to my former one of my favorite players, Vasily Ivanchuk. Shout out to him. He has a YouTube channel as well. Do check it out. Do check it out. Vasily Ivanchuk. The only man Kasparov ever feared. So, what's going on here? Okay, wow, the position opened up a bit. Rook d2, knight f8. Gukesh didn't go for g5, keeping it simple. Goes for knight f8 to go knight g6. And white plays h5, stopping knight g6. But by stopping knight g6, bishop f1, bishop d3 might be more convenient. b5, cb5, rook b5, trying to create play from this side. But now the double pawns are gone, so the position might be becoming a little bit more comfortable for Nijat than it previously was. But then again, what was the way for Gukesh to make progress? So I'm not too against it. But it's just that I think now Nijat is not doing too bad. Not as bad as he was doing before. Still we need to bring this knight into the game. Hans revealed that he had camp with Kramnik. I do briefly recall something like that. I do briefly. Yeah, Keshav. I think I do recall this. Yeah. They get weaker because if you don't play chess for enough time, you lose feel for the positions. So what happens is, let's say you gain a position in the Nimzo Indian, you gain some position in Nimzo Indian, and then when you were playing chess actively, you were aware of all the subtleties of the Nimzo Indian. But then as you get older, or if you don't play chess for enough time, you start to lose those subtleties. For example, like the line I was discussing in the line which I was discussing in King's Indian, the Firouzja's variation, let's just call it that. I used to know all the subtleties of this line, like when I was playing it regularly. Like I knew all the subtleties here. F5, F3, A4, A5. Like I had huge preparation and I knew like how the play goes on, what kind of middle game ideas are there. But then as I have, start playing chess less often, I start to forget the subtleties, and it's natural, like you can't remember everything. I still remember a lot of things, but you know, the more deep you get, the more things you forget. That's what essentially happens. And also your tactics, your tactical vision gets weak if you don't practice chess enough. So yeah, these are two main factors. And you become slow. And you become slow. So you take a lot of time on the clock. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. Anything else? I'll continue. I'll continue looking at the games for a little bit longer, and then I'm leaving. Nothing here. Let's just play this. Why are you not a? Come on, Bhargava, you can do better than that. Why are you not a crorepati? Let's put it that way. Well, actually, let me give you an answer. Chess doesn't pay enough. Let me give you an answer. So that's why, we are here on YouTube. But like content paying is a bonus. I'm actually enjoying doing this commentary for you guys. Really, I really enjoy talking with people while commentating. We got other things to be looked at. Like, okay, Caruana's slowly building a bind. This knight has to go to g6, but Vidit can easily hold this. Like, there are no big weaknesses except b7. Fabiano's in the driver's seat, but yeah, I don't know. It's a long way to go before winning the game. All this Kramnik stuff makes me think how crazy it must have been for chess fans during the Fischer era. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Because he's watching a stream. Hey, don't insult him like that. Don't insult him like that. I know it's some friendly fire. I know. It's okay. Nothing personal. Who is Dev Gadvi? I've been hearing about him a lot. Who is he? I have no idea. But yeah, Queen C5. Nothing else. Like, why? What's the point of playing exchange French if you wanted to get absolutely no advantage in the opening as white? What was the point of exchange French? Like, black has a dream opening position. Praggnanandhaa is not losing this game, by the way, guys. It is a draw, most likely a draw, but I highly doubt that Nepo can win this one. Simple reason, Praggnanandhaa's knights are better placed, and Praggnanandhaa has a good bishop, white has a bad bishop. There is no chance that a person like Praggnanandhaa would actually go on to lose this position. He's 2747. He can't lose this position. Yeah. All right. Bishop f1, bishop d3, perhaps. We got. What else have we got? Nothing here, nothing here. Let's check the women's candidates for a second and then we'll come back. Women's candidates. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah. We got some sharp games. We got some sharp chess here. This French became quite good for black. Maybe I should start looking into French again because French is not supposed to be this good. CD5 was possible. We had like h6, the idea was to play g5. But why not CD5, ED5? What's so wrong with this? There is knight b3, knight b3, and rook c1, knight d4. Interesting ideas. Let's say king b8. Knight takes c5 and e6. Yeah, well. Okay, taking was good. We had bishop g3, knight f5. Knight f5 was bad. Now you lose your strongest piece. Sorry, bishop g3 was bad because knight f5 you lose your strongest piece. So knight f5 is very good. Knight f3. Again, a very defensive move. Bishop c6, takes, bishop takes, queen a4, trying for something. King f8. Hard to believe this position is already +2 for black. Hard to believe. But essentially, this bishop is practically dead after g5. So, nothing too surprising. g5, bishop d3. A weakness of structure could have played. Okay, queen c8 is not easy to see. Queen c6 was good. Queen trade helps black due to a dead bishop. Knight d4, king g2, h5. Yeah, black is in the driver's seat. I would be shocked if black doesn't win this game. So hard to defend for white. Yeah, white is in trouble. White looks in trouble. Looks like if yeah, I don't even know how to defend. Like h3 only move I can see. So that h4 bishop h2. This is crazy. What else have we got? We got Guryachkina playing Humpy playing queen b8. The rook looks scary, so do these pieces, but Humpy has everything under control. We got this one, we got this pin, so even though this rook looks a bit scary with the pressure here, there are no concrete tactics. Like queen c6, it actually loses. Why? Queen takes b2. So that doesn't win. And you can't simply grab this pawn, can you? Even here, probably queen takes b2 is good. Or bishop b4 is actually great. The rook is pinned. So you lose this bishop. Fancy. Well, how did we reach here? So we got this situation, rook d1, knight c6, bishop d2. She did not take right now because she had e5. Wow. The rook is unprotected. Pretty good preparation. This h6 is a nice move. Bishop d2, rook e8, e3, queen c, knight a3, knight. This was not great. Knight a3 was not great. Black gets b5. Knight e5, yeah, okay, you have double pawns, knight d7. This knight actually should have been on e4 to get some attack towards the king. It's completely on the wrong side of the board. You needed this knight somewhere like g4 or e4. Completely wrong side of the board. And okay, you sack a piece. I didn't, and you gain it back, but you're still worse. White has rook c7. No, I take with the rook. No, bishop. Okay, bishop takes. Let me think, Bhargava. Let me think. So, Bhargava, you are saying rook c7. No, rook c. Wait. Rook c7, rook takes a5, queen takes a5, bishop d8, no? This works or no? Think it does. So this is possible. But I'm thinking rook c7, rook takes a5, queen takes e8, rook takes. Yeah, no, yeah, of course. Yeah, rook c7, rook a5. You mean knight a3? I think you are talking about knight a3, not king a3, knight a3. Yeah. Who? Who? Wow. Okay, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Would be really fun to have a co-commentator. I think, like, with the slow pace of these games, it would be great to have someone else as well. Yeah, I'm gonna get someone soon. I'm gonna get someone soon. Yeah. Maybe Bhargava will join the chat someday. Bhargava is actually a funny guy, guys. You'll get to know soon. He's actually a funny guy. A little bit crazy at times, but a funny guy. But yeah, okay, let's keep going. Salimova seems to be dominating here, like knight d6 is coming, no? Strong bishop, great diagonal, knight e4, knight d6, all these sort of plans are very dominant position for Salimova. She did not have a good tournament so far, it seems like. She's on 4 out of 11. And she's playing against probably the leader who's on 7.5. What's the leaderboard here? Yeah, she's playing against the leader and has a dominant position. Ooh, will she be the villain of this women's candidates, helping the others win? It's actually not even close. You have a Chinese grandmaster on 7.5, then another Chinese grandmaster on 7, and then Lagno Kateriana on 5.5, and Humpy on 5.5. So really, it's these two Chinese women who are playing for the win, like to win the candidates. China's becoming really strong. China's becoming really strong, especially after Deng won. These Chinese chess players just started spawning into European tournaments out of nowhere, and now they beat people. They are so underrated as well, much like Indians, and they actually put us in quite a lot of trouble. So yeah, but yeah, Salimova seems to be doing good. Who else have we got here? We got where are the games? Lagno has had some moves. It seems like let's refresh. Okay, this bishop. Wait, pawn or pawns are better? I don't know. Can you guys tell me if this bishop is a pawn? Wait, is it, are you talking about me? Are you talking about me? But is this bishop a pawn or pawns are better? I don't know. The bishop on g3. Good question, no? Good question. Bishop on g3. Like I could replace it with a pawn, and probably my position would be better. I don't know. Yeah, pretty crazy what's going on here. Like, how did we end up like this? Bishop h4. Actually, the best move is to. pawn. And then you gain full control over the h file somehow. I don't know how this is working. So bishop h4, bishop e4, bishop takes, pawn takes. You have queen b6, rook b1, a5. Like, who's going to find a5? Come on, guys. Let's be serious. No, okay, Injin's ideas are weird. No one plays bishop h4 like this. Injin, weird. You all are. Oh, Humpy has found queen a8 and seems like Guryachkin is in trouble. Solid pressure along the A line. +3 for Humpy. Ooh, big trouble. I'm assuming she's trying to go something like. What's her plan exactly? Rook b8, bishop b4 is one plan I can see. Okay, what? We had rook d7, queen b8, rook d1, queen a8, rook d7 again. Oh wow, black. Okay, white has definitely gone wrong here. But there's only one move for black which actually wins. Others are slight advantage. And the move which wins is bishop d8 to go c5. Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. Uh, yeah. I mean, bishop d8, c5 is coming. White is lost, but white has to find bishop d8. Not particularly hard. Oh yeah, let's look if there have been improvements. Somehow, the women's section is much more interesting than women's section today. Gukesh's game is well improved a little bit, but you know, bishop pair, open position, d7 weakness, c3 weakness basically counteract each other. So these two weaknesses counteract each other, and with the bishop pair, white is actually a little bit better. So basically, that's the view here. Nothing more or less. Nothing more or less. Actually wondering if white can get g4 g5 at some point, like with a rook on d3, can you get g4 g5? That could be dangerous for Gukesh. Like, what happens if we play rook d3 right now? There is rook b2, right? Putting pressure on f2. But let's say rook d3 explore. Rook b2, I put this rook, queen a5. And if I play, okay, a2 pawn falls, yeah? a2 is also a weakness. If I play queen c4, not really want to defend the pawn. But let's say rook b1. I don't know. Rook b1, g4. You probably there are some tactics, right? I would assume there are some tactics. Rook a1, rook b2. Yeah, this is gone. I mean, this is not working. So that plan is a bit too slow. Maybe in the future, though. Rook d3, g4, g5. Possible. Lower rating is the reason. For what? Did I miss something? I can't remember what I was talking about. What did I say? I don't care, mate. I've got a, so you probably won't be offending me. So, yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, ah, but well, how does that actually correlate? Why should lower rated games be more interesting? Because of the mistakes. I guess. I guess. Yeah. Well, actually, you're sort of right. Yeah. If we are saying close to perfect chess, then it becomes less interesting, right? Yeah. I mean, nothing more going on here. This is dry. With its game, Nepo's game is dry. Praggnanandhaa's trying to put some pressure. If Praggnanandhaa actually wins, does he have a chance? Let's see. If Praggnanandhaa wins, he comes on 6.5. Nepo stays on 7. Gukesh will probably make a draw. He comes on 7. Hikaru wins. He comes on 7.5. Fabiano, what is Fabiano doing? Fabi's result. Fabi's pushing for a win. So if Fabi wins, then Praggnanandhaa doesn't have a chance. If Fabi draws, then maybe. Yeah. So we are looking at, yeah. That's funny. That's funny, Keshav. Well, even I make mistakes in Blitz. Less so in classical, but more in Blitz. B3, I mean, Fabiano's played this position quite well, considering his style is completely opposite. He prefers complications, but he's actually playing this like Carlsen. He's playing a Carlsen like position pretty well. He's got a solid bind on the queen side. Black's pieces are struggling for good squares. Easier to play this as white for sure. For sure. Yeah. Okay. D3. This is getting sharper. Now, only one move for white. Only one move. Bishop D1. Everything else is bad. Wait, we thought rook C5 was good. So why is D4, rook E1? Wait, what is wrong here? I don't know. I don't know. I thought Stockfish was saying something special at a higher depth, but I didn't see anything wrong here. Let me increase. Let me see if I can increase the depth. Let's see what happens. I don't know why is knight d. Why is rook e1 not good? We are targeting here, here. So apparently there is knight d3. Rook takes f5. Queen d7. Rook g5. Knight f6. What is going on here? Knight c3. Yeah, I don't know. This is too complicated for me. Like bishop e3. I don't know. Like has black actually figured out everything here? Highly doubted. Highly doubted. I mean, I expect rook c5. Bishop d1 is another move, but highly doubted. Queen d2 and knight c2 where, Bhargava? Where? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Let me just quickly check how many subscribers I've got. We got how many subscribers? I can't see it. Wait. 101. Okay, not bad. Yeah. Queen d2, knight c2. Yeah. Don't know what else to do. Yeah, yeah. I'm hustling. Okay, let's try that. Rook c5, e2, rook e1, knight c2 doesn't actually work. No, rook c2. Or maybe queen takes d2 first. Yeah. Queen takes d2. I can take with the bishop. Knight c2. I can take on f5, right? Or I can take on c2 and take on c7. That also looks good. Let's try this one. Huh, this gets complicated though. This gets complicated. The pawn on d3, whether it will survive or not, we don't know yet. It depends on very concrete calculation. But d2, rook e1, I don't know. Queen d2, bishop d2. Even knight d3 is a possibility, right? Rook f5, knight e1. Similar, knight c2, rook f5, knight e1 transposes. And knight e1, bishop e1, both are moves. I highly doubt black has figured everything out. Yeah. Got it, got it. Highly doubt black has everything figured out here. I don't know. I don't believe in it. Feels like white should be doing great. But I've got knights. I've got two knights. Like if I can get in knight c3, f3, king f2, then chances. Fewer chances. Like the pawn will survive for a while. The question is how long. It will not survive for the whole of the game. Highly doubt it. But well, what we are saying is we are actually taking the bishop. So no bishop d3s. This looks natural to me. Now Engine says a move like rook d8, which pretty insane. And the only move for white is bishop c3. And then there is rook d1. And then the only move is knight d4. And then the only move is knight e1. And then the only move is knight e1 again. And the only move is knight e5. And then knight c2 holds. Okay, come on. Okay, come on, come on. What is going on here? These are all engine lines, guys. Like, if you expect me to calculate all this, I'm not that good at chess. I mean, can any human calculate that? Hmm. We haven't got. No, I doubt it. Like, even Alias are seeing all of this. Highly doubted. So now Hikaru has to make a decision. He still is up on the clock. Still is up on the clock. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know. But I guess, yeah, you got happy, but the even square is protected. Even square is protected. With that, guys, I will probably be leaving now because I'm actually hungry and I've got to study. So it was really a pleasure commentating with all you guys, and I will see you in the next stream. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.